Okay, you're online.
We have a poet here, right? So I wrote Urdu poetry and then translated it to English in orange. Urdu mein, I just created quick poetry. It was a very quick, bad poetry and asked it to write in English. No, so I started with like I gave some kind of Urdu blurb similar to that and asked it to iterate.
This you share has created a lot of controversy. And people are branded as doing kufr by deciding.
Right. No, I thought I'm starting with. नहीं ये है
Before you start the topic, you want to talk about deep sick?
Deep Sikh, yes. We will get to that one. Sure. So when should we start? Okay. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I'm Asif Habib. I think many people know me already. Recently, my team got acquired by another company. So I am now head of innovation and architecture in that company. Yeah. So, but then this is my passion to give back to community. I call it PIF Tech or PIFLY, means pay it forward with technology. Like this is my best foot forward. Like I know technology, so if I have to give back to community, this is my way. So, so today, basically, this is an awareness conference. Like some of this, you can get it directly from ChatGPT. Now, so the real benefit is in question and answer. So that ChatGPT cannot answer the way you want. And the purpose. Oh, what happened? It's gone again?
Yeah, he went to sleep.
Okay. To ask AI what's happened.
That's the future for human with the AI. They control, not us.
So,
HDMI1 is recognized as a way.
huh?
So here HDMI1 is recognized.
Right.
Says it.
Yes.
So just in your,
Just
on your
refresh
computer,
your display.
and your computer just try to set it up. HDMI. Just select HDMI.
HDMI should be direct.
No, just choose the second display again. The function key. Are you on a Mac or?
Mac.
Here you go. Now it's working.
Okay.
Now you go full screen.
Okay.
Can you go slideshow?
Yeah, so it's a little slow. So I'm
no,
already,
full- no.
I'm already full screen. So
Oh, you already
this one
full
is,
screen. Oh, got
it's taking time.
it.
It's going to the router, coming back.
Okay.
So let me go. So basically, it will take time to change the slide. So I'll go to the next slide. Basically, the topic is the topic is about AI, and then the fear is about AI will replace human. And then for business, what do we do? Like it's going crazy pace. A lot of things are happening. For people on job, what kind of job they will do because they may be out of job. There's a lot of fear, anxiety. It's almost like a earthquake in some segment, especially technology and non-technology people would like to know what is happening around us. And the people with the studies, let's say if somebody is is about to graduate in 1 or 2 years, what courses they will take. So that's the idea. So I will go through concepts very fast so that we can talk about these things in a question and answer way. So a little interactive series is better than this one way. So, but I still, because we need to bridge the gap, still it's better that I go through these slides fast. So in my opinion, AI is not here to replace. AI plus human are going to replace human without AI. So if you don't use AI, you will be out of market or out of business. That's the actual fear. People using AI will win in near future. It's not AI will replace us. It is human with the AI knowledge will replace us. So lot to cover. It will come slowly. So first I will go through basics, then latest trends, then impact on today, and then we start talking about future, DeepSeek and other stuff. From my last visit, I think it's few months now, till now, there's already $1 trillion were impacted just last week because of artificial intelligence. Something happened in the stock market. So we will briefly discuss what you want to discuss. This is slow. So we will.
Are you accessing this slide online?
Yeah, so I think because
You don't
HTML.
have local?
Huh?
You don't have local on your computer?
It is local, but then it's a local offline downloaded.
Okay.
But then I think this one is slow because it's going to a router. It
If
says,
you have a local, why you need to go to local?
yeah, so I'm using a local Wi-Fi, but then I think something is slow in the AirPlay.
If you just connect to locally directly
Yeah.
with the HDMI,
Yeah, HDMI is not really kicking in. Let's try one more time. Yeah, I think it's not. If someone knows, then please.
so are you connecting directly?
No, this one is not working. Okay, this is.
What about your input?
Huh?
What about your input? If you go into hardware display setting,
I think you put the HDMI off.
Yeah, normally it is detecting that it's connected to HDMI, but it's just not working.
your input signal.
So we can keep talking. I think while we are, if you can help.
I'll see if I can find
Okay. So, while we are trying to figure out, so there are a couple of areas of technology. We started with narrow or weak artificial intelligence. Weak artificial intelligence is your Siri, basically, or a very basic your prediction service. Like when we used to measure in 5 or 10 years ago through a stock market that what will happen to the stock, that earlier 5 or 10 years ago intelligence was a weak artificial intelligence. So then come along general artificial intelligence or strong artificial intelligence. So the one you are looking right now is are some symptoms of general intelligence. So in this one, you are more autonomous. There are more neurons. Like neurons are the simulation of human brain, and then next is super intelligence. Super intelligence is where your AI is similar or better than human. So that's the intelligence category. I can just take a quick look at this.
Sure.
Yep. So there are different categories within artificial intelligence. There is a natural language processing (NLP). When we are going to a chat GPT, we are writing things in English, and it is able to translate it into some context that AI understand, and then answer based on language. It is language input and language output. That's natural language processing, or NLP. So there are a couple of other areas. So what's it? It's fine. I can if it's not
It's okay,
working,
there
let's-
is, I think,
yeah, let's
that's fine.
keep going.
Okay.
So that's fine. We can just talk like this. I think something is not working. So, so yeah. So that's fine. So we will work without it. Basically, when we are saying deep ML or the machine learning, that is basic algorithm. Then we call it deep machine learning that has a lot more neurons, a lot more brain cell. Or when we are saying brain cell, in AI world we call it neurons. We call our brain cells, but in AI world we call it neurons. So that's deep. Then computer vision. So when car is, like when you have Tesla going through the road or these electronic vehicles, they are looking at road as pictures, as video. And within a video, they are trying to figure out, is it a human or is it another car? How much distance? All of it is detected live, very fast. So that's a computer vision area. Your camera, your phone, all of this, when they are trying to interpret your pictures and videos, those are the computer vision area. Then next is robotics. If you have intelligence and you give hand or feet or a body to that intelligence, then it's robotic. Robotic also add that how do you walk? Because if you are standing, you may fall. Because you will probably see some TikToks and YouTubes about a dog-looking robotic person. So the benefit is that robot can go inside a nuclear plant, or they can go in the areas where human cannot go. Especially it is used for war because we just love fighting. So another area that's not here is going to be drone very soon. Already people are using it because now we are training intelligence how to fly. And we used to do it by autopilot, but now it is more intelligence. So it's going to get crazier by the day. Applications are a lot. I will just skip through it because I wanted to reach the Q&A. So healthcare, finance, retail, manufacturing, transportation, all of these areas have I would say it would be hardly any area where we will not have artificial intelligence. Our chat GPT is already replacing Google search. Like, where do you go first today? Do you go to your Google search or chat? I first visit chat GPT because it not only search for me, it summarize and it give me a context and a very brief form. So it's already replacing our older technologies. So now the latest technologies, like when I came last time, I selected a topic called generative AI because that's where my own startup was focusing. So my own startup was that you give a document and then it will create a full course. That was the startup. Because each company has a document, it will read from PDF and it will create a course and training program with the wizard and with the quizzes. So it was full training program just from a document. So that is generative AI because you are taking some material and now it is generating. It is writing things. Like you saw the share in Urdu is, I don't know what is it called it's a poetry generated by, I don't know share equivalent in English. A poem, a small stanza of a poem, right?
Yes,
So, a couplet. So basically that one, I gave a very, I quickly thought, I actually was thinking of lapatna, palatna, palat ke jhapatna. Because I wanted to say, okay, we require movement and we require agility going forward. So I just gave a very quick blurb and asked that, okay, somehow we mix AI into it. And it started giving me one poem after another poem, and then I selected the top one. Then I changed a little bit. So between me and AI, we came up with this two-line poem. So it's not just AI because it was producing a bad poem, and I was mixing it myself, and then I was giving it how about this? And then it used to correct it. It used to give me a choice. So this is a future. Like even artwork, like a poem, it used to be so hard. It used to be very intellectual area. You're asking ChatGPT to produce certain things. What AI is doing is matching patterns. It's not thinking. I am thinking. So going forward, when we ask question, what will happen going forward? Critical thinking is one of the things. Like when I came here, generative AI was the hot thing. Now another two things are hot already in few, I think it was 5 or 6 months ago. So already generative AI is a story of the past. So generative AI was great because you were, instead of predicting, now you are producing. I give you a text, you produce an image. I give you an image, you produce a video. So this is generative AI. It is doing something extra, generating things. Now the next wave, like what is future, is called agentic AI. Like in last 2 months, everybody, Facebook, Google, everybody is talking about a new thing called agentic AI. Previous 6 months ago, it was generative AI. Now agentic AI. Agent. You know agent, right? So it's now agentic AI. What is agentic AI? Is previously we used to say, okay, now previously, like I said, that earlier it was predicting. Like I have a stock, my graph is going this, you have to predict is it going to go up or down, right? That was my previous, and then I almost like a statistics, I can predict. Then it was generative, that okay, I am not telling you anything, just generate anything like an artwork, like my poem. So it could be any generation, like it can write an essay for you, it can write a business plan for you. All of this is generation, right? So my own business plan, when I was talking to this another company, was produced by AI. I say, okay, just go through all of the startups, give me the best business plan. That is my answer, and produce the business plan. And then I started changing. So this is the back and forth. It is not just AI who will produce. You have to go and do things. In my company, HR documents, basically we changed the scheme. So when I'm in a new company, we change the scheme that, okay, AI first. It means before you, to the engineer, before you start engineering, try AI first. Why? Because it gives you like historically we start with our own mind and we take a piece of, I'm a whiteboard person, or take a pencil and paper and then start scratching, and this will come, ideas start coming to me. Now you throw the problem to AI, it will give you first 40% of the work. Then you start changing and iterating through it. So now what is next? Next is agentic AI. Now what you're doing, imagine you have like we used to have in Karachi, chai walas, like you gave a job to that little boy saying, go and fetch me a tea, right? Those small young people, they have, like you can say, okay, go and get me vegetables from market. I need this and that, but it has to be clean, right? You are giving some kind of instruction. That young boy will go and fetch you the stuff, and then if it doesn't do a good job, you will tell him, go do it again or something. And if it does a good job, then you will reward him, right? So imagine AI, agentic AI is similar. So you're giving a job. For example, I say, okay, why don't you go, so to my salespeople, I say, okay, this is where all the startups are. Just go and fetch startups from 1 million to 5 million. And then search. So if it's a recruiting company, I'll say, okay, go and search startup from 1 million to 5 million. And if they have posted a job in job boards in the past, go and find the CEO of that person and then find me the email and phone number and give it to my salesperson and they will make a call, right? So this is lead generation. Lead generation is a expensive area. Like if you don't even know today who to call. Every business needs a lead generation. Now this is a small thing. For an AI is small thing. Go fetch 2 things. This is an agent. So this new technology is called agentic AI. So there is also a word called agentive AI. Agentive and agentic are kind of, some people confuse these two. Agentive is a helper to human. Agentic has a mind of its own. You're saying, okay, can you do this and figure out yourself? Agentic is figuring out yourself part. It is more intelligent. Like you can say, okay, I'm a day trader. This is how market works. This is bullish, this is bearish, however, like you define, this is how market work. And then this is a stock price and this is my comfort zone. I'm a very aggressive investor and these are my normal styles. Why don't you do this and this is the money? You have $10,000, go do things. Now that agent, now this one I'm talking about advanced agent, not a basic agent, but it's going to do a day trading for you. Imagine that. It's almost like your chai wala, your tea boy doing things, but now it's more smarter. Now you're saying, okay, can you go and fetch me a laptop with this kind of software installed? Now it is more intelligent. So next level is these, you have 10 of these agents. You're asking, okay, when you're going there, so my sister has a wedding, 5 of you do and arrange for seating and 2 of you arrange for food, go work together. So this is the next level, right? So these agents now can work, it's called multi-agent. Now they know how to talk to each other. Yes.
So are AI agents agentic or agentive?
If they have a mind of their own, then we call it agentic. It's fuzzy right now. I would recommend going there. It is still, the way they explain is also confusing.
Yeah, because this whole concept of AI agents has just come up over
Just last 2 minutes,
Yeah.
but people were working on it. It's not a new. We, like 20 years ago, we used to have schedulers in our computer. We used to say, okay, run my job in the night, 12 a.m., and this is the job. We used to do it. But that run my job in an exact time was a rule-based logic.
Right.
It was not even AI.
Right.
But then come the AI, the deep, shallow learning, the deep learning. Now this is intelligent. Like if I leave this agent in a maze, I say, go figure out, do things.
Right.
Does that make sense? So I'm using a simple language to explain. But for actual definition, it's better if you, because of the audience and online audience, I'm using very simple language. If it's a mind of its own, then agentic. If it's following human command, agentive. A little bit more rule side. So it's these days people are confusing these two. Agentic is the next level. Now, imagine you're saying to the drone, okay, can you go and fetch my package from Amazon? Or Amazon is saying, okay, this is a pizza, Said Saab needs a pizza, and this is address, go fetch. And if there are other drones, avoid them, don't get stuck in a tree.
Right.
So that's agentic.
Would you know that I want meat pizza and not vegetable?
So that is, so that's a rule. So going forward, it will have rule. So your preferences. So these preferences are stored in Amazon somewhere. So you start with some kind of information about Said Saab, right? So then you know some kind of information of how to fly, right? So there will be specialized agent like this. This agent will know how to fly. Your car agent will know something else. Now imagine if everything is done by agents. What is the car? Car is the outer shell that these agents will use. And now that shell can look like a robot or your pet or a car or your plane. Actual thing is what? Is agent. Because what do? We ask things to do things. Like we ask intelligent or these chai walas, the tea boys or younger low-level staff. We ask them to do things. And now what we are figuring out this month, hot item before DeepSeek, because DeepSeek is another topic, but I will touch on that one. So now what we are figuring out how they will work together. There is something weird happened within last 2 weeks or last week. It's so new. I came 7 days ago to the area for my new job, but then it just happened during these times. Imagine the speed of this change. So if you guys understood the agentic AI, we will come to the question answer. Now, a completely new thing happened. That OpenAI, when Donald Trump came in, Donald Trump says that China, like if you go to, normally when you see who is winning, who is more advanced, who is more latest. We are in a mosque, so in a Muslim world, we had our own days where we were superpower. But then Britisher came along in South Asia. One of the reasons we sometimes say it's their political genius, another in a good words, not in a, we remember them in bad words, but in a good words, they were great in diplomacy. But then we also know from a technology point of view, our like Mughals were using swords, and they came with a gunpowder, right? So technology shift. When Salahuddin were going, we went how to throw stones to the castle. That was a technology, right? So technology was playing great roles when a superpower were shifting. So America, being a superpower of the modern and future world, understand that China is going to be superior if we don't do something. Now, is it Trump or the people? I'm not a political person. Whoever it is, we are giving a good credit to the president, whoever decided. It's a great thing to decide that we will compete in AI. If we have to keep our superiority, it is next wave is artificial intelligence. So $500 billion are invested. $100 billion are 3.5 hours from my location. I'm now in Austin. So they found one city where they are building $500 billion. So they are starting from there in Texas, but they will create different centers around the country for artificial intelligence. When Trump and they collected the top Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, all of these CEOs, and then they formed this kind of let's create a new force for artificial intelligence or innovation force. At that time, during that time, China came out and said, okay, you were using $500 million to do something, I can do it in $5 million. So that was the information bomb, I would say. China came out and said, okay, what you build using ChatGPT in hundreds of millions of dollars, I can build it with a cheap hardware with 5 million. So for my own startup, I found that one computer for AI was $25,000. It was not a task of a small company. So for my own startup also, I use game machine, $1,200, and I came up with the idea of join these 10 game computers and do the job of artificial intelligence. We could do it, but then we are not China level, and I did not have $5 million sitting around. So we have the knowledge, and this is built by, like my own algorithm was built by a bunch of young kids from Pakistani universities still studying. So the knowledge is equal. Like if it's an intern from Pakistani university or Bangladesh or somewhere, or a Stanford or Harvard, the knowledge is same. They are all looking at the same paper. Most of the research papers are published in China or from China, but then America is number 2 now. So what happened last week is DeepSeek, what you are saying. DeepSeek is the name of a product and a company coming out of China. They made a clone of ChatGPT. So it's not about ChatGPT. It's not about that they can also do exactly same as OpenAI. It's about making it cheaper. Because you used to, in our head, we were willing to spend $5 billion, and they were doing it for 100 times cheaper. It means they can do it from $5 billion. So $500 billion is difficult, 5 billion is easy. That means China or even maybe Pakistan or Bangladesh or some other countries can do it. The question is, are we ready in our countries? When I visited South Korea, they were investing in PhDs. Each engineer were top class. Like, it's hard to find that level of engineer in America. That's how much they have no agriculture. It's a very small country. They're next to a very difficult enemy, like North Korea. They still call them brothers, by the way. so they're in a very difficult situation. But where they invested? They invested on human capital, and you can see Samsung came out, and so many great companies came out. So coming to the future here, I'm now going off the off the book. So this is generally a future. Like today, it is happening. What will happen to the future? Now the next topic on my slide is what will happen to the future if I'm studying. If I see a couple of students, not all, maybe online. Is if I'm taking a course, what course I should take? Because right now, a regular software engineer of 5 years ago, they are out of job already. Hundreds of, like tens of thousands of people are out of job. I'm creating a new office in Austin. We just posted last week, and 1,000 people applied to that job, and within 2 or 3 days. And this is software engineer. We used to have a red carpet from them, and we used to convince, okay, come, we will have free food, and you can come whenever, take any PTO, any days off. They are out of job. This is the first time in history a white-collar, highly educated person is out of job. So what do we do? What will our kids do? What kind of studies we will do? So first, like I said, I started with this, that a person who is without AI versus a person with the AI. Now future AI, like they are already claiming this AI is like a software engineer. You have a lawyer, you don't need lawyer, you don't need this, you don't need that. So what do you do? So the one thing is common is a change. You can see, like I was saying, from last few months to few years, change is happening. So if you know how roller coaster work, like I used to be scared of roller coaster, and then I saw my kid, my son, he's now grown up man, mashallah. But when I saw my son and my nephews, they just lose themselves and have fun. I used to hold the bar, and I was a little scared that it will go upside down. What will happen? So if you are scared of something new, and if you are scared of changes, then future is not for you. So just enjoy the ride, but then don't think your road is straight. Always think it will keep turning, it will give you surprise. So one thing for sure is a change. So you have to learn how to change. So for example, what do I do? For last 20 plus years, or actually I don't even remember, from the time of my college, I allocated 1 hour every day for learning. I have a $50 budget. I buy 4 or 5 courses from Udemy, $15 each, and I just force myself to learn, regardless. And I see what is the latest trend. I take that course and I just learn. So I have so many courses. I don't even remember how many courses I have. But then when I go and talk to another fellow executive or senior peoples, they like me because I have all the good buzzwords, and I know, and they look towards me because you look smart. Like young people will look smart if they have a knowledge. It's the same, like you just need to know, like agentic. If you don't know deep down, like where I lag is my other seniors read books. So that's my new challenge, that I have to read other kind of books, non-technology books. But then that's one, the change. Number 2 is critical thinking. Like if AI is your helper boy, and these helper boys know how to work together, they are doing all the things, then you are in a wartime, like we use wartime analogies to explain, because war is the most difficult and unknown, filled with unknown. So your generals or your fighters, I would highly recommend Art of War if you don't know it. That's why we use a war analogy, because it's the most tricky situation because you don't know what your enemy will do. We're not talking about chess or risk, even though I like those games, strategy games. But then war is the most difficult thing because you don't know what the other person will do. So what you start with, your general, well, you start with your war council and you strategize. Okay, this is my war sequence, this is where my armies are. I have this kind of army, I have that kind of army. Today there are video games about it. So then you say, okay, how do I attack? This is the enemy. Who is your enemy? Your enemy is the change your environment, who is changing on you. So you see a situation and you have to win. That's your objective. So that's a critical thinking. I would highly recommend our young people and business people and with the job that have a critical thinking. So change critical thinking. And then AI first. Treat this AI as your helper, your best assistant. So that these are the three things I would ask you to follow. Course, if you're taking a course, for sure take AI courses, and then for sure have foundational courses. Some of the universities, colleges are out of date. They run a couple of years behind. They are almost always 1 or 2 years behind, and their professors and lecturers are slow to adapt because young people adapt fast. But I am from NAD. We call it like what is the yellow wall Pila school? Like it's a low budget university, but then if you see NADians performing, some of them have a NASDAQ level of companies and hundreds of $1 million companies. But when we studied, our teachers did not know enough. They were teaching us 10 or 20 years older courses. But then the students, when they came out to USA, they are really avoiding slang. They are really performing great. So imagine your universities are building your foundations, and then you are taking the courses for latest technologies outside foundation from university. And if you miss anything from a university, take another foundation course. That's for a student. For business people, like I just explained in a stock market, if you have a shop or restaurant, real thing is, if like somebody asked that, okay, if I have to make a bun kebab or burger shop, then why don't I build like a McDonald's? What is difference between why our community do not think like McDonald's? Because it's a thinking pattern. What it is horizontal scaling. If you think about how do you manufacture thing from manufacturing to distribution. If you are the CEO and you are on that stall all the time, then you cannot scale. So I'm president of Open Austin chapter. We are going to have a yearly conference soon. Like even if you have a food, so basically we will talk about these kind of things in that conference. It's smaller than Silicon Valley chapter, but how do you make business? How do you scale business? So if it's McDonald's or Starbucks is like a chai wala, right? They have 5 different flavors and then they sell you 10x more expensive. But their atmosphere, they have a branding. We don't know how to create a proper brand. So create a branding like Apple. Samsung was always almost always better than Apple from feature point of view. Because I worked on feature, we knew that Apple used to come 1 year late, almost always. But always, if Apple is out, people want to buy Apple. It's a branding. So brand, scalability, and all of this. Now you have an API, AI as a helper. You can use AI to help you brand, help you sell. So my general sense is that when somebody asks me that, okay, where do you want to invest? For senior people, they have old bad habits. So I think there is a saying called practice makes it perfect. I think so. What I am believer of a practice makes your habit permanent. If it's a bad habit, then it's permanently bad. So our seniors have to learn how to unlearn. First, so it's double job. We have to unlearn older techniques. I'm used to the fountain pen, like, ink, for example. I'm not, but now I have to use iPad-based pencil. It's the same thing, but then some people will stick to that fountain pen with the ink. So now they will not find that kind of fountain. It's okay to have as an art form, because if you are collectors, but adaptability and critical thinking is key. So seniors will need to unlearn previously and learn the new trick. But juniors coming out of college, university, they don't have a problem. They will learn directly the new thing. That's why seniors are at risk. A junior with the AI is more dangerous, it's more valuable than a senior who is not ready to change. So adaptability is the key, regardless of your experience. Number of years of experience was in our parents' time and our time. Like change is a must, right? So we used to have this belief, okay, when I am in a job, after 30 years, I will be retiring. No, now when you're on a job, you will be laid off a couple of times and you will change job a couple of times. You will stick in a job for 2 or 3 years, and it's okay to walk out, and it's okay your company kick you out. You just need to know how to negotiate. So make it part of a game. And actually, so that's why I was looking for that shared lapatna, palatna, palat ke jhapatna. Lahu garam karne ka hai ek bahana. I don't know how to translate in English, by the way. I need some Urdu speakers. So it is Allama Iqbal is a philosopher, poet of South Asia. I will try to translate. It is basically if you know the panther or tiger, when it's hunting, what is the heron called? I'm sorry. Deer. So both of them, if you see that fight, I love that kind of chase, because deer is so fast and panther is fast. They chase each other, and then eventually deer has to save his life and panther has to hunt so he can eat and stay alive. So it's a game of staying alive. So, but then imagine how cool panther is. Another example I give to younger people about eagle or falcon. So it's not about, if it's a pigeon, that's another example of Iqbal. We use pigeon and eagle. So if it's a pigeon, it's just flying. It's a bird, you're flying. It's a normal flight. You go there, you eat, and you come back. But eagle have to fly 300 miles and then come down in a very fast speed and hunt and then go. Why is that? So, and then eagle stay in a very weird location. But then there are almost 1,000 people visit Alaska every year to take videos and pictures of falcon and eagle. Why? And actually sometimes eagles stay hungry, and it's okay for eagle. So it's not about the food for falcon or eagle, it's about the attitude. How you achieve your thing. That's the difference. Like if you have to, like that's for my younger audience, if you have to do things, do it with style, do it with attitude of success. So that's so basically there are a couple of messages. It is a topic is about AI, but I'm just a little bit digressing. Yes.
So I know when you talk about AI and foundational courses or so, it's a general concept, right?
Yes.
Can you go a little bit in detail, basically the learning curve that if you take a foundational,
Yes.
what are you exactly going to learn, and then what will be your next level?
Yes. Great question.
How long it takes to get you somewhere where you land on a job or somewhere like that?
Yes. So great question. I don't know if you are captured in a mic. I can repeat that if you have is it for a younger people or for yourself or anyone?
Anybody who is coming into this is not in the
From a non-AI to AI world, basically. Yeah. So question is that if you are deciding, let's let's ride on this AI bandwagon, what foundational course you should take. So if you go to a university, they will recommend you maths. I don't think you need maths unless you are building the DeepSeek and ChatGPT kind of thing. So it is so there will be multiple groups. There are groups who are, it's almost if you have a car and you're building one widget of a car, then you need to know how electricity work and how car computer work. But most of us are car drivers. Most of us know how to change a tire, right? So if you are able to change a tire and keep it up, then it's great. So there are going to be some specialists. So I'm assuming 1% or 2% are specialists. So this answer is not for those. For those, university will inform them, study the foundation, maths, like C++ or whatever language. For general audience, I would say understand general concept. Like I was saying, deep learning, machine learning. Like you need to know all of these terms, first of all. Basically, all of us should look smart. Like tricks of the trade is that you need to know the definition. And then you need to know how to use this. Like my chai wala example, the tea boy example. You don't need to know what is his family background. You just need to know how, if I give instruction, which tone he will understand. Some younger servants understand authority tone and some understand friendly tone. So you need to know where are these things. For example, if I have to build something, I will use make.com or a Zapier. Why? It means this is where I will join things. So if I have one agent, I have another agent, I want it to ask it to do it together, then I'll go Zapier or make.com. How do you learn it? Like these younger TikTokers and YouTubers, they are blasting the internet with this kind of information. This is that tool, this is that tool. So I would say you need foundational knowledge that, okay, you need agents. Start with the problem that we all do. We all, regardless, I think there are many business people here. We all start with the problem statement and what is the success criteria, and then start filling it that first, let me see what AI method available. And how do you find out? Ask ChatGPT. That's the great beauty that ChatGPT is understood the internet. It will tell you everything. So, and then it will tell you how to join these two together. So then take some advice.
So another question, to land on a basic job in AI.
Oh, so yeah, so that part I missed out. So your next part 2 was that you need to know enough to land on a job. So job is getting trickier for many people for many reasons. And I give example of, I give you example and then you probably will understand. It's a long example, but I will try to shrink it. Imagine you are in older days and you had 1 acre land in a village. If you are a villager, you have 1 acre land. And you were supplying your 1 acre, let's say you were growing corn. You will supply it to a small shop in a village nearby or small city nearby. That was old days, right? And then come along a Walmart of the world. So 1 acre is not enough. You need hundreds of acre land to convince Walmart to buy from you. And then that shop is not enough. You need to have a Walmart. So you are out of job. So now, instead of keeping 1 acre job, you need to adapt that you can work for Walmart and be a supplier. Like you will go to a 100 acre kind of village, like a agricultural landlord or whoever, what you call it. You need to know how you can become a supplier. If you stay there, you say, I will always remain a landlord, then you will be out of job, right? So you can become a supplier or something else, but you change things. Then now you have Amazon. Walmart is at risk because now even you need 1,000 acres and then drones are supplied. So now you don't need 1,000 acres. You need to know some more advanced technology to become a supplier of Amazon. So that's my going back to original saying, change, adaptability, and using AI first. So our students go to college, or even seniors, we go to college, say, okay, let me take a night course, and I will take one course from Wallonie College or this or that university, and I'm done. No, because your course was designed by a professor who is 2 years, from last 3 years, he is learning the same thing. Unless that teacher is learning latest all the time, that's not, and even if that teacher is learning, Wallonie is not ready to change course every 2 months, right? So your colleges, our colleges are not ready. So I would recommend, highly recommend, go to these Udemy and Coursera and these online courses. Even take the certificate. You should have some certificate. There are some evergreen kind of certificate. Like if you are on a technology area, there are like DevOps, Amazon, AWS, Azure, those are evergreen, like they will stay. They will have less changes. But the programming language, some programming language will have changes. I'm staying with the programming world, you don't have to, you have to translate this to your own field. There are hardware people. So general answer, take a certificate for the sake of making your resume look better. Learn from latest courses and keep learning so you know that deep down. I started with the definition of, generally you should know what is deep learning, what is machine learning. Those are high, shallow level knowledge, so you look better going forward. Going forward, we already talk, okay, how fast is your electric, how many miles your electric car go. We don't get amazed by that concept now. Where do you charge? This is in our general vocabulary now. So AI should be in your general vocabulary. You take courses for making your resume look better. You keep taking these courses to give you deeper knowledge and decide a North Star. Like if you are in a desert, you decide, okay, this is where I want to go. In that direction, you keep taking the courses. So for example, if you want to go to the DevOps, what is the next level? Imagine what is 2 years from now. So I will take MLOps, machine learning operations, rather than DevOps. So if you are staying with the programming, I will say which language is more important. Then if I have a cloud engineering, then you say Google, Azure, Amazon, who is the market leader? Next 2 years, you just go to the Forbes or go to this trend. Like every year, there are certain reports came out saying that this is next 5 years. Imagine there are no more 5 years. They are 5 months or 1 year because of the speed. But watch out for trends and then take courses on those trends. And number 2 is like these junior, now I'm like your senior person, but then for junior people, your first job is always difficult. For example, my brother and I both studied from NED. He was from Electrical University. I was a geek. I got job while I was studying. But my brother, who is now senior director in Siemens, his first job, he said, okay, I hate everything else. I just love electrical engineering. So I coached him that you are not going to get your first job in electrical engineering. So his first job was taking a computer and supplying it to the offices. And he did that for 6 months. He hated it, but then he landed on his job. So I would say get on the job to the new guys, even if they don't pay you. You have to be on a job, internship and on a job. So that's what I would say. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, my question more gears toward the new generation, basically, who are working in different fields, like you mentioned, right? That, if he's working in one field and say, he just, now AI becoming the trend, so if somebody needs to shift it, where do they start? So
Yeah.
I think once getting the foundational course,
Yes.
they will get some sort of direction from there, where they want to go, what their niche they want to pick up. So.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I,
Nico. So I'll be repeating it for the mic. Yes.
I'm going to ask you a short series of questions because I want to understand something.
Sure.
Let us say that I give ChatGPT the picture of a cat, and the cat looks like a puppy, and it comes back to me and it says, this is the puppy.
Okay.
Now I tell ChatGPT, no, you were wrong. My first question is, and ChatGPT thanks me, oh, thank you.
Yes.
And it notes it. Now, if I show it from my same session, if I show it that same picture again, what will be the answer of ChatGPT? And I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Will it
So-
have self-corrected?
Yeah, so the latest version of ChatGPT has a memory, also learn from you in that specific
So
session.
that is local to my session on my computer.
They claim that it transfers into other sessions. They claim it doesn't work properly. So on a session, it works, and I tried it.
Okay, so there is some processing going on my local computer.
Yes.
Right?
And even between your session, but it stays with your account.
Got it. Now, I don't sign on and I go to another computer. So that what is cached or saved is not there.
Yes,
What will be the answer?
right. So
Repeat the mistake?
right. So if you have a public account, if you have even this $20 account, if you don't have an enterprise account, then ChatGPT do not guarantee that they will learn from you. So they have learned it once. So they learned it. How fast they learn and how fast it will come to your another computer, it's up to ChatGPT. But they learned.
So that was my question. For it to update its model,
Yes.
for the model to learn, what does my skill or qualification have to be?
So, so model is learning from millions of people now,
I know. So,
and you are one of them. Yes.
okay, but now what if I gave it the wrong information? What if it goes above?
Right. So it's called human in the loop. When you say, okay, when you correct and it says, thank you for correcting me, or there is a thumbs up, thumbs down, we don't use that. Normally we correct it in English, saying, no, you're wrong. So at that time, it flags the information behind the scene. That's why I'm saying how fast this became part of a general knowledge. There is a concept called human in the loop. So the training, like there are hundreds of thousands of learnings or corrections coming to the OpenAI. Somebody is triaging it that, okay, this is a good information, this is a bad information. So they have if I were them, I don't know, I'm not in OpenAI, but this process exists that it goes back, somebody look at it, somebody with the knowledge. If it's a basic knowledge, they can validate somehow it become part of it. This is how I will architect. I don't know the background of how they did it because their technique of DeepSeek is different than OpenAI, but this is how I will do it. So it's a human in the middle.
No, human intervention will be impossible.
Yes.
I mean,
So-
we're talking of billions,
Yes.
if not
So-
trillions.
Yeah, so that's why this is scalability problem. So there is also another concept called adversarial network. You have one AI, you have another AI. You ask the same question to the two and then let them compete.
No, but eventually it has got to digitize the image that I gave to it.
Yes,
Store that in its nodes for future reference.
right.
But that is a huge ask. That is what I was wondering. Do I have to be a qualified?
Oh, to train,
Yeah.
no, you as a user do not have to be qualified. You are, because many humans are telling you wrong information, like
So it's
maybe
got
you are
some
wrong.
unknown criteria.
Yes, so they have some method, that's why I'm saying human in the loop is one of the method. There is an adversarial network, there are some other techniques to get the feedback, it's a feedback cycle.
So if more people are feeding the wrong data, so the AI's learning will be based on that.
That-
And they will produce the same wrong answers.
No, so
This
that's
is
why
just an
I'm,
assumption.
no, that's why I'm saying this is how we started before ChatGPT. Microsoft came out with the chat bot earlier, before ChatGPT. they trained that bot in TikTok, and it learned from Twitter all the bad words, and they became something wrong, and Microsoft had to shut down that chat software within 24 or 48 hours. So the current OpenAI has some checks and balances to not learn from the bad information.
Please give opportunity to everybody to ask questions. Who's next? Go ahead, Paul.
The biggest debate about AI is people think that AI is only good for those people who control AI. So eventually gonna be rich people up there with lots of money, they put the data and then educate everybody, and the rich people in the lower level, they're gonna be distinct because no way to survive. So eventually they change the structure. So where is Allah? If
So-
Allah is the AI, they have different kind of answer. Frauding.
You said law, or where is, huh?
Allah. Allah.
Oh, I see, oh.
Like Allah, they cannot give a satisfying answer to people who believe Allah or the people who disbelieve Allah. So eventually, no religion, only rich people control everything, small group, and the lower level becomes slave. The lower one is king.
Okay, so your question has multiple areas, so including religion. So let me first address non-religion. Question is that if AI is so expensive to build, please correct me if I understand. So expensive to build, and whoever build it, the top guys will have all the power. So that's first part. Second part is where is the God and knowledge?
The tradition, the culture.
The culture and tradition, how do we do? So first part, I used to think this way 6 or 8 months ago. Then I created my own software using cheap hardware. I was telling I bought a machine, we experimented it. So NVIDIA was selling it for $24,000, $25,000, $1,000 a month. So I bought $1,500 computer, 5 of them, and I was able to solve that problem. So each computer was in a 50% speed, but if you have 50% or 4 and 5, you can divide the load and do some magic. So for a younger startup, there are methods, and I was so happy when Chinese company launched it. I was unhappy that $1 trillion of the stock was gone. So yes, that is a problem. But happiness is that they released open source, and that's like I can download that software in my laptop and build something like OpenAI, right? Or at least not like OpenAI, but at least something similar.
But remember, they almost assassinate that.
Yeah, so
they're almost going to put in jail.
yeah, so that's why I'm saying it's gonna go into a detail. So maybe we skip your religion, but generally it's a very brief answer on the religion. When was a time where misinformation was not available? Our Quran, our Hadith is filled with this information. In Pharaoh's time, I think there are so many learned scholars here, I cannot go in deep. It was always a misinformation, and you always have very small number who is telling the truth. All of us have to find that truth ourselves. I think that is my answer. Sorry.
Nazir.
Yeah. Recently, I started not to trust AI or ChatGPT because I found some errors when it is collecting information.
Right.
How can ChatGPT collect wrong information, or maybe, especially, let's make it clear here. An ayah has been presented in a wrong way.
Right.
How they get this ayah? Well, it's not there. I mean, the ayah is there everywhere. You know, it is the same ayah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. How it comes saying Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, for
Yes.
example. How
Yeah,
that
that's the danger of ChatGPT. And I think this was my lecture 1 or 2 sessions ago, that the danger is ChatGPT is your friend. If you ask a question, that friend will answer you in such a confident way that you start believing. As a human psychology, we go and, like right now, if I'm speaking in a confident term, you will believe me, even though I'm saying something wrong. So that's a human psychology. So ChatGPT answers you with the fact. Wherever it doesn't have the fact, it start filling in with the other detail and still say it in such a confident way that you will think it's truth. That's a danger. That's why I normally advise to stay away from ChatGPT if it's about philosophy or religion or something else. Or ask for reference.
Okay.
One more question. I think we are close to the end of the program. No, he had a question, and after that. Quick answer, please.
Okay, sorry.
How do I prevent myself from spying of Google, AI, etc.?
How do you prevent yourself to, so Google and others cannot spy on you?
Yeah, I don't want them to spy on me.
I think this is losing the fight. It's already, they already know you.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yes.
Sorry, too late.
I'm sorry. This is short, this is good short answer.
Yeah, I think very good. Vijahad, after Vijahad. Vijahad? Yes, please.
My question is pretty general. So, when you say for the
Loud.
people, I mean the professionals that are already in the field, and we wanted to, let's say, create the tool, right, the AI tool, to perform our job. For example, if you're doing, let's say, cybersecurity and safety, and we have pretty standard process flow, right? So, I mean, what tool, AI tool that you can suggest to
Right.
convert those day-to-day work? Is there a specific tool that we have to develop ourselves?
So let's say in a cyber security, so let me repeat the very basic question. In a cyber security or a specialized field, to make it general, what tools are available to, very specific tools are available from AI? Is that close enough?
Yeah, so just to further, just to show you, so I talked to my IT, they said you can build a generic tool for that job, they can help me for that. So that's what I'm asking.
Right. So I think if I have, so generally, should you build or should you get a tool? So if you're in cybersecurity, first, most important thing is your AI should be in-house. Like, don't use this $20 account. You use the enterprise version so it doesn't leak your information outside. Number one. Number two, building is going to take months and finding tool is easier. These days there are so many startups and young geniuses building the tool. I am sure that you will find the tools. Some software companies started capturing the directory of which tool for what job. So I'm sure in cybersecurity there are tools. I'm almost sure. I don't know, I'm not in that field, but I know that there are pen tests, there are a couple of tests from past years. So AI is almost everywhere. I know one or two companies, my friend also in AI and cybersecurity. So, but then I have never used that tool. So I will start with finding first, then adapting it. Is it?
One last question. Rahman, last.
Over the years we had development of different technologies. First, internet search came around 2009, and then we had 2004 when social networking started developing, Orkut and Facebook, and then came the short social media like Instagram and Snapchat and all that. And eventually, they had regulations from different countries, especially EU,
Right.
around the users' data privacy. And they all had to make changes to actually inhibit their full potential and give users a choice to opt out of cookie settings and what information they use from me and if they track me and all that.
Right.
Now, the whole AI model is based on how many users will use and what data is given by the users to the model so that they become more and more intelligent.
Yes.
At what point do you think these regulations will come in and actually inhibit the full potential of AI? And if that does happen, how useful will AI be at that point if it cannot really track my data at all?
Yeah.
Like,
Great question. So very basic, like if AI is learning from I'm summarizing it. If AI is learning from us, and if you don't have enough people, if rules and regulations stops you, then the knowledge will delay or it will reduce the value. That's the value of open source. If I am open source CEO, OpenAI CEO or Microsoft CEO, I'll be worried about that DeepSeek because they released it open source. And that's the benefit of Chinese side, that they already have 1 billion of their own people and they open source to the world. I see champion developers using DeepSeek rather than OpenAI. So open source is one way to get the data. And law and legal boundaries come later. And these are some of the new jobs happening. If I'm a younger person, I will start mixing law and AI and technology, 3 things together, the great future field. So it will, by the time law kicks in, your models are already trained. And if you reduce it, let's say, if we come back, say only America for American, then you still have 300 or 400 million people using that technology. So you still learn at that time. Does that answer your models are still advanced enough at that time?
I mean, sort of, because until it happens, we won't know how it's
Yes.
going to react.
I suggest we should, continue after.
I just
You
have-
have one question. Go ahead. Okay,
just have a
let's do
comment.
the last one.
The problem with AI is it generates its own facts. So
Generative
just
it.
to prove my point, I asked AI, I said, give me the worst 5 genocides in the last 5 years. Okay? So it lists number 1, Myanmar, number 2, Ethiopia, number 3, Houthi war, number 4, Uyghurs, number 5, the Russian invasion in Ukraine. I said, all right, let me narrow it down. I said, how about in the last 2 years? Okay. So look at what it responds. It says Russia's invasion of Ukraine, number 1. Myanmar, number 2, which happened before. Okay. Tigray conflict aftermath, I don't know which one this is. Then Afghanistan's treatment of ethnic minorities. And my question was the worst genocides. Okay. And number 5 is the Uyghurs. So to me, the danger of AI is that it builds its own facts.
Besides the people who are reading the data,
Yeah.
are prejudiced,
Well,
Yeah.
that is a built-in bias, is it?
Yeah.
No to AI. No.
Asif, so based on quickly, a quick segue to that question is, now we're looking at EIC, right?
Right.
Built based on their large model, right? that
Right.
they have in China. So is it fair to say when I'm using DeepSeek, it's going to be skewed towards,
A new
Chinese
thing,
data?
Chinese, yeah, new training. Okay.
Good job, Dilip.
Yeah, so I think more countries like Chinese will come out and they will be based on a new information. Yes.
Next second, let me read the answer.
So it's going to be based on the new information from a different country. Right?
Data in, data out.
But he is available here, so during our match here,
This might be one country.
By the way,
but give us the opportunity.
that is not a snack.